guys, remember when I made the Harry Potter video back in October? I got an overwhelmingly positive response from you asking for more movie or book or TV show inspired recipes. I thought really hard on this one, trying to think of something equally as iconic as Harry Potter. So Spongebob it is! The following recipes are inspired by foods from different episodes. They're obviously not gonna be 100% accurate, not only because they're vegan, but also because I did some improvising here and there. Now let's get into it, shall we? Starting with a recipe from one of my personal favorite episodes, Grandma's Cookies. Begin by melting down some vegan butter. To the melted butter, add either 3 tablespoons of mashed banana or unsweetened applesauce. If you choose banana, it's gonna taste like banana, so keep that in mind. Add in some raw sugar. I used 2 different types, but that's not necessary. And some non-dairy milk. Whisk it up. Next up, we're adding the dry ingredients: spelt flour, baking powder, and salt. Now, it's not exactly described what flavor the cookies are, though we can be pretty sure it is chocolate chip. But for them to have this same light brown color, I also added in a teaspoon of unsweetened cacao powder. Fold in bittersweet chocolate chunks. Then put the dough into the fridge for at least 30 minutes or put it into the freezer for 10. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Using an ice cream scoop, scoop out the cookie dough. This makes enough for 10 to 12 big cookies. You can also make them smaller like they're in the show, and then I'm sure you would get like 15 out of them. Let them firm up for at least 15 minutes before serving. And don't forget the milk. This one's oat milk. Moving on. Okay, so this might look familiar. It's the vegan version of the Barnacle Loaf from the classic karate episode. So instead of barnacle, we are going to be using a mixture of beans and lentils. First, preheat your oven. Roughly chop up 1 onion. Sauté that onion in a small pan on medium-high with a bit of olive or vegetable oil. After about 5 minutes, add in some walnuts and let everything cook for 2 to 3 more minutes. Set that aside. We're making oat flour by blending up some oats until fine. And now add in all the remaining ingredients. 1 can of red kidney beans, the onion and walnut mix, brown lentils, soy sauce, tomato puree, garlic powder and dried herbs, and salt. Now blend. You will have to scrape down the sides a couple times. But yeah, we want this mix to be fairly smooth. It's definitely okay though if there's a few chunks here and there. And then shape the dough into this sausage type shape. Alternatively, you can line a loaf pan with parchment paper and then press the mixture into the pan and bake it that way. Last step would be to brush the loaf with barbecue sauce. And then bake it. Mine got a little dark, so I would recommend adding some aluminum foil on top halfway through the baking process. But it's okay, it's still super edible. Serve it as a side dish to something else, or serve it with some dips and sauces, or like in the show, with buns and mustard. Idea number 3 is a hybrid of 2 drinks that appear later in the show. The Kelpshake from the Best Frenemies episode, and the Milkshake from this episode called License to Milkshake. First, we'll need to make vegan whipped cream. This is the only one that I have found that can be whipped, but they sell it at Edeka now, which is nice. I blended up a bunch of ingredients in the blender. That goes without saying. We've got frozen banana, frozen pineapple, 1 to 2 teaspoons of blue spirulina powder, or use any other seaweed superfood powder that you can find. But is it vital for the taste? No. Is it very expensive? Yes. So you do not need to add this. You could give this shake a bright green color by adding a handful of spinach, and that's totally fine.
I lost something I couldn't live without. My identity.
Top off your smoothie with as much of the cream as you like. And then don't forget to add the cherry. It is so good, especially the pineapple and cream combination. Highly recommend. For this final idea, we're making yellow, red, and green pretty patties. You can make the buns way in advance since they freeze beautifully. If you want to recreate this, I would suggest sticking with one color. Making all 3 of them was a lot more work than expected, but it turned out great. But let's just get right into it. To a small saucepan, add non-dairy milk, a tablespoon of vegan butter, and a tablespoon of raw sugar. Warm it up on medium heat until the butter has melted. To the milk mix, add 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. Just let it sit like that for like 10 minutes while you combine the dry ingredients. Spelt flour, salt, and in this case, turmeric powder, as well as a bit of black pepper. Mix with a wooden spoon first until it kind of comes together, and then dump everything onto a floured surface and knead it with your hands for like 3 to 5 minutes till you have a nice and big and smooth ball of dough. Place it back into the bowl that you just used, cover it up with a dish towel, and then place it somewhere warm and safe to rise for 1 hour. Now, after rising, take out the dough, knead it again for like 2 minutes, and then divide the ball into 8 tiny balls and place those on a baking sheet with parchment paper.
And that's how I got my identity back. Well, that's my story.
Cover it up once again and let it rise once again in said warm place for about 30 minutes. Brush the buns with melted vegan butter or non-dairy milk. Sprinkle the buns with sesame seeds before baking. Okay, so the green ones are basically the same. The only difference is swap the pepper and turmeric for matcha or spinach powder. And for the pink ones, use a half a cup of non-dairy milk and a half a cup of red beet juice. Besides that, same process as before. They're all different types of bean burgers. To a food processor, we're adding a can of white beans, 1 sautéed onion cut into pieces, rolled oats, sunflower seeds or walnuts, and mustard and soy sauce and salt. This time, you don't want the texture to be super smooth, but rather chunky so that the patties hold together when frying. So just pulse for a few seconds until you reach this consistency. Cool, so same process for the green patties. Defrosted green peas, chickpeas, fried onion, sunflower seeds, oats, more spinach powder, and salt. Also, I forgot to add lemon juice and nutritional yeast. And for the red patties, we're doing kidney beans, onion, garlic powder, sunflower seeds, and oats, once again, tomato puree, mustard, and salt. Form the mixture into patties. If you feel the dough is too wet at this point, you can add some more oats or cornstarch to it. And then assemble everything. Now, I tried doing the Krabby Patty order in which you layer these, but I definitely failed trying to do that. First off, Spongebob puts the patty naked on the bun. Wouldn't recommend doing that, so I added a teaspoon of hummus on there. It's not something Spongebob would do, but why not? Of course, in the show, the pretty patties, they look a lot different. They also have colored lettuce and everything. But that is it, guys. Definitely let me know what you think. Let me know what type of franchise I should cover next. I have a few in mind, but I'm definitely open to suggestions. Once again, this was so fun to make. If you haven't seen the Harry Potter one yet, I will link it in the end card of this video as well as down below in the description. So check it out. I think it's my favorite video on this channel so far. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to you soon. Bye!
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.